biggest issue that affects us both domestically and internationally, our national security, our environment, and our economy, is energy. I was Secretary of Energy, and I like to compete with the governor of California as to which has the most clean energy state. Usually when I'm with him, Governor Schwarzenegger, because he's bigger than I am, I let him win. But when I'm not with him, I patently declare that New Mexico is the clean energy state by the initiatives that we've taken. My plan on energy, which will be in my broadcast ads, I believe is the most aggressive of all the candidates. But most importantly, it involves you. And it's controversial, and it can only be approved if we push it, and I would push it, by citizen action, but also by citizen participation and citizen sacrifice. Okay, so I'm giving you a little preview. It also means that we've got to defeat the huge lobbies, special interest groups, and major oil, coal, and nuclear companies that are going to oppose it. So I'm telling you that this is going to be a tough sell with a political system, but I believe will be popular in this country and will be embraced. And this is what it involves. And I'm going to go through it specifically because there are a lot of issues here that affect you in Iowa, which potentially can be a center of jobs, high technology jobs, biodiesel, biofuels, ethanol, that could be a major component of this initiative. Number one, my key component is by 2020 reducing by 10 million barrels of oil. A series of bold measures. How do we do that? One, we go fuel economy standards for vehicles, not to 35 as the Congress wants to do, which I think is pretty pathetic. It should be to 50. And we have, in my judgment, the technology to make it happen by 2020. Because you can have your SUV with a fuel-efficient engine. We have the technology. I was Secretary of Energy. We tried to push that then, but the auto company said, we can't do this because consumers won't buy it. I think they're flat off wrong. Number two, we would have a dramatic, and this is one that affects you here, a carbon fuel requirement that reduces the carbon in our liquid fuels by 30% by 2020, which emphasizes ethanol and biodiesel. Number two, create new efficiencies and energy sources in the electrical sector. What does this mean? That means by 2020, I believe this country should have 30% in our electricity, renewable energy, solar, wind, biomass, fuel cells, distributed generation. We did that in New Mexico. We have a mandate, and several other states do. We're up to 20% by 2020. But I believe nationally, we have to move with a 30% requirement.